We are back together again. Yes, we are with you, everyone. It is Sunday. It is no ordinary Sunday because it is absolutely gorgeous outside. It is a very glorious day, no doubt about it. Ooh, we're back together. I'm ever so excited. I'm very, very excited because we are here again. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan and
Mr. Steve.
There he is. Look over there, standing there, looking very cool and sophisticated today. You look amazing, Steve.
Yes, so do you, Mr. Duncan. Fashion.
Yes, it's all it's in fashion today. Fashion is what we are talking about later on. So that is today's subject. Can I just say, it is an absolutely glorious day. And that behind us is the view from my window right now, looking towards Shrewsbury. So that is the town of Shrewsbury, but it's not recorded. It is not a still picture. It is live out of the window, just giving you an idea of how wonderful the weather is today. It is a lovely, lovely day. And don't forget, I will say it straight away, I might as well, give us a like as well. If you like all of this, if you like the pretty colours and the handsome men on your screen now, please give us a lovely like. It's nice to be back with you, by the way. Mr. Steve is here as well. We are talking about fashion. You may have noticed I have put a little bit more effort into my dress sense today, my attire. Attire, that's a great word. Clothing, your attire, the things you wear. So that's what we call it. And this particular piece of clothing I bought in China many, many years ago. So I've had this for, oh my goodness, I'm just trying to think. I think it might be 18 years.
Well, it's definitely not in fashion anymore, Mr. Duncan.
I think this looks amazing. If I walked around Much Wenlock wearing this, I think a lot of people would fall to their knees and they would say, Mr. Duncan, it is true you are the king of fashion. I think so.
It is an amazing, it is something like 22 degrees outside in October.
Yes.
It's unprecedented. Well, I don't think it's unprecedented, but it's certainly unusual.
No, it has been 22 degrees before.
It's certainly unusual, and I've been outside doing jobs that I need to do before winter hits.
Okay.
Making sure our flat roofs aren't leaking, Mr. Duncan. I've been up ladders, painting little things which I think could leak water.
Good.
Getting rid of moss.
So it's a good day for doing outdoor jobs before the weather starts to turn. The days are getting shorter. And of course, at the end of this month, we put the clocks back. So we fall back 1 hour at the end of this month, towards the end of October. And then the days will be shorter, the nights will come earlier, and then winter will approach. And we all know what happens during winter. Anyway, enough of that, because this month it is the 17th anniversary. Steve, I've been doing this for nearly 17 years. I can't believe I've been here doing this for such a long time. I've been doing it for almost as long as I've had this jumper to be on.
And probably longer than some people that are watching you have been alive.
Yes.
Maybe we've got some young viewers, I don't know.
That is very depressing, by the way.
Talking of the live chat, can we mention
the live chat? Hello,
live chat.
Hello.
There's some interesting developments on the live chat already.
Can I just say hello to who was first here today? Oh, very interesting. Jimmy. Hello to Jimmy. Congratulations to you. Well, you are first on today's live chat. You see what I'm doing? I am voguing.
Well, Jimmy is watching us on a new computer, and apparently we look a lot bigger than normal.
Oh.
So, probably all the flaws are showing now.
All of the
because you've got a bigger screen.
All of the spots and the
Jimmy.
pimples, all of the pimples. You can see all of the wrinkles on Mr. Steve's face.
So how do we look in Hong Kong on your bigger computer? I presume you mean a bigger screen.
Yeah, one of the things that people were saying that, because of course we do not broadcast in high definition, and it has nothing to do with our wrinkles. Because I know if we did upgrade the picture quality, maybe you would see all of the wrinkles and the signs of aging. I went to the dentist this week, so my teeth at the moment, can you see them? They are beautiful and white and clean.
I need sunglasses, Mr. Duncan. They're so bright.
Although I do have a slight problem at the moment with one of my teeth. I'm going to have a little bit of work done, unfortunately. The dentist has to come along and she has to do a little bit of repair work.
We can ask Claudia whether she thinks that what you have been advised to have done is correct.
Well,
because
guess what? I already have.
Oh.
I've done it. I mentioned it the other day to Claudia, and Claudia has written back to me. So that's all done.
So what's the verdict?
It's my auxiliary. It's my auxiliary second molar, top left, apparently. It is suffering from a little bit of subsidence. So they're going to reinforce it with some sort of special... There's a buzzard flying around. Can you see the buzzard behind me? There's a buzzard going...
Oh, yes.
Look at that. Watch out, Steve.
I think it nearly landed on my head.
It nearly did a poop on your head then.
Yes.
There's another one as well. There's two buzzards. But my upper tooth at the back needs a little bit of work doing. But that's it, really. So I don't think it's too bad for a person of my age.
But did Claudia say that that what they're proposing to do at our local dentist is the correct form of treatment?
She said it's a fantastic idea. Go for it, Mr. Duncan.
But how much would Claudia charge? I'm just wondering whether it's cheaper to fly over and have it done by Claudia.
I can tell you now it isn't. But it's £1,000 to fly to Argentina, and then we have to stay somewhere, and then we have to have the dentist work done. So I think it is cheaper, even though having dentist work done here in the UK is rather expensive.
Yes.
But I think it's still cheaper than flying all the way to Argentina.
Although it would be more fun to do that.
It would.
And we have, can I mention a returning viewer?
Oh.
As well. Tomek has returned to the fold.
Hello, Tomek.
As we say.
Has he returned? I didn't know you'd been away.
If we say someone's returned to the fold, it means that they've come back into the group. They may have gone away for a while. There may have been, I don't know, for whatever reasons. And now they've come back. You say they've come back into the fold.
Yes. Or, of course, you've come back to the flock.
It could be temporary. We don't know. But it's nice to have you here.
A group of things together can be described as a flock. Maybe if you go to church, the people who go to church with you can be described collectively as the flock. Or, as you said, the fold.
The fold.
Fold.
Yes.
A group.
Sometimes, for whatever reason, you're in a group of friends and maybe you've had enough of them and you decide that you want to go off and do something else. You get bored with them or something. But then you decide to come back and people welcome you back and they say, oh, welcome back to the fold,
welcome.
Is what they say.
Come back, yes.
We don't know if it's temporary or permanent, but it's... By the way, the Parisian carrots. Can I mention the Parisian carrots? Tomek gave me... We've got some lovely gifts from all our lovely people that we met up with in Paris.
You do realise Tomek threw his toys out of the pram
anyway,
and left us.
Right, yeah. All right, Mr. Duncan, can I just finish my story? Anyway, we got some lovely gifts, and one of them was some carrots. Seeds, Parisian carrots. Well, I can give you an update on those. They are growing in the garden as we speak.
Good. Well, that's it then.
And no doubt I will harvest them at some point.
Good. Who else is on the live chat today?
Lots of people on there. Well, there's so many people on the live chat. I can barely. Well, we haven't got time to mention everybody.
I'm going to say hello to Florence then. Florence, Saturino, we have Valentin. Hello to you as well. Vitas is here as well. Oh, we also have, of course, he is back. Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you back here as well on this glorious day. We are having the most fantastic weather. It feels as if summer has come back and it's giving us a lovely warm hug on this Sunday. And I hope your day is going. We are talking about something. Now, I suppose when we think about this particular subject, we often think about pop stars, singers, actors, maybe celebrities, generally celebrities, maybe members of the royal family as well, younger members, certain people, especially females. Now, I want to reset the balance with fashion, because when we think of fashion, we often think of female clothing or fashion connected to the girls. But us men, Mr. Steve and myself, we also love fashion as well.
I don't.
I do. You don't love fashion?
I'm not. No, I don't. I don't conform to any fashions. You know that, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
You see this top here. Can I mention this top?
Yes.
This D&G top.
D&G.
Dolce and Gabbana. Now this is a genuine D&G top. It's not a fake.
Okay.
And it was purchased by me, for me, by some friends many years, about 20 years ago, in fact, I would say.
Is this when you went through your black phase, where you were dressing like a black guy for a long time?
I wonder what you're going to say then. Mr. Duncan,
I'm being serious.
I thought you meant in terms of people I was dating or something. I don't know what you were referring to, Mr. Duncan.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that, not me.
Well, yeah.
I now have some extra questions to ask you later.
I went through... Well, no.
You went through a phase where your friends were all buying you clothes and trying to guide your fashion sense, but everything you were wearing looked like clothes that a rapper or an R&B star would wear.
I think this is, this was when you were in China, Mr. Duncan.
It was.
I was all on my own, and I made some new friends, and they were very good to me. And this is one of the things they purchased for me. We used to go night clubbing, or clubbing. Every Saturday night I used to wear this top, and let's just say I got lots of attention, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, I bet you did. I mean, there are two types.
Mum's the word.
There are two types of attention, by the way. There's attention where people look at you and go, "Ooh, wow, he's so sexy." And there is other attention where people go, what is he wearing?
No, they weren't laughing, Mr. Duncan, because let's just say I often ended up in... let's just say I didn't come back to my own house every night. Anyway.
In your dreams. In your dreams.
Well, it is in my dreams now because it happened a long time ago. Then you returned, and it's
this is really
been flatlining ever since.
What does this have to do with fashion? It has nothing.
Well, no, this top. You see, I'm saying this is
Let's talk about that then.
I was referring to the fact that you were the one that anyway. I was referring to the fact that this is a genuine D&G top, but I did not purchase it. It was bought for me as a Christmas present by some friends of mine.
You just told us that.
And it fit. And it fits. It still fits after all these years.
Yes.
And anyway, that's it, is it? That's the story. That's it. The story was was that I said to you that I don't really have any interest in fashion, and that is correct.
That is correct.
I don't follow the trends.
But some friends tried to guide you.
Exactly.
It was a complete disaster because all of the clothing looked weird on you. It looked good on a person who was black. Or a black person, but not a white person. See, white people can't wear certain things. It's true, though. I'm not being racist. It's just true. Certain people look good in certain clothes. Some people look better, and some people don't look very well or very good. So we are looking at some words and phrases connected to fashion. Fashion.
By the way, Edith says that they are returning as well today. So there's no, So we've got to recognise that. I didn't know you had gone away, but it's nice to have you back as well.
Yeah.
We thought you were here the other week.
Maroots says Sid Vicious. Now, I know Sid Vicious, not personally, but he was a member of the Sex Pistols, a punk rock group in the late 1970s. And then, sadly, he died, and then he wasn't around anymore. But the Sex Pistols then broke up, and the rest, as they say, is history, as they say, because they were history.
Thank you, Giovanni Rivetti. Trying to roll my R's.
Good.
For your nice comment about December 2016. Something was amazing then. I was amazing, Mr. Duncan, on Christmas Eve 2016. I'll have to look back at that to remind myself to what you're referring to. Thank you for your comment.
That was probably the last time that Steve was amazing. I think maybe that's what it's all about. Who makes you laugh? Now, I was thinking the other day about things that make me laugh. People, famous people, comedians, anyone. But who makes you laugh? Now, there are some people who I love watching, and they really do make me laugh quite a lot. I suppose one of them is Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais is someone who makes me laugh. Other people, comedians from a very long time ago, some of them no longer around. So what about you, Mr. Steve? Who makes you laugh now?
Well, I used to like... now, I don't know who makes me laugh now, actually.
Do you ever laugh?
Yes, I do, Mr. Duncan, as you know, often on this live stream.
Oh, I see. I was setting you up then for something.
I see. Say it again then, say it again.
Well, it doesn't really work then.
Okay.
I was going to say, do you like to laugh?
Yes, I do.
That's it. That was the joke.
That was the joke, yes. And no one will know that reference.
No, it doesn't matter. It's gone now.
It was from anyway, right, yes.
So who makes you laugh? Is there someone, a famous person, maybe a person in your own country who makes you laugh? Maybe a famous comedian or a film star. So I would say Ricky Gervais. I also like to watch old silent movies as well. Charlie Chaplin. Harold Lloyd. A lot of people have forgotten about Harold Lloyd, but he's very funny. He was very funny. Many silent movie stars. Buster Keaton. Amazing. He did all of his own stunts. He would break almost every bone in his body to do them, and very, very funny as well. So even in the past, I can still find certain things funny. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is I think it's a great gift. It is a gift. I think to have that power to make a person laugh, because it is something, if you really have a good laugh and something makes you laugh out loud, it's a great feeling because it's something you can't control. You are laughing, you are expressing that moment of joy. So any person that can do that, create that feeling in another person, for me, is amazing.
Yes, humour. You've got to be able to laugh, or as Mr. Duncan would say, laugh. There are two ways of pronouncing that, depending on how posh you are. I would say laugh.
Yeah.
Mr. Duncan would say laugh.
You just said that twice.
And, but this is a teaching channel. If you repeat things, people remember.
Beatrice is here. Hello, Beatrice. Charlie Chaplin was a genius indeed. He was. He died on Christmas Day 1977. I always remember that. I don't know why. It always sticks in my mind as a child when they announced it on the news.
Right.
So I always find that even if the person has long since gone, they can still bring joy into the world. Jacques Tati, which I think Mr. Steve isn't familiar with, but a French comedian, French comedy star. He did everything silently. So he never spoke in any of his movies. And Rowan Atkinson, who created Mr. Bean, based Mr. Bean on Jacques Tati. Did you know that? Well, now you do.
I never found Mr. Bean funny, so I'm guessing I wouldn't like Jack Tattoo.
Tati.
Tati. I think we all, as well, as we get older, we tend to prefer the comedians that were around when we grow up I couldn't name you one comedian. Well, apart from Ricky Gervais, who makes me laugh, but Seinfeld, I do like Seinfeld.
Yes.
But I prefer the sort of older comedians from the 70s and 80s when we grew up.
Yes. I suppose the ones I would mention, maybe for British people or anyone watching in England or the UK, Morecambe and Wise, a double act, very famous, very well known. So there were many that were around. I do like observational comedy. So a person who takes part of life and then they observe it and make jokes from that particular situation. I do like that sort of thing. Very.
Yes, Rhubarb says, hello, Rhubarb. You are in a different location. We're not actually. All that's happened is that Mr. Duncan has zoomed in his camera.
Yes.
Because the weather's very good, so we can see a long distance from high up where we are here.
Shrewsbury.
So Mr. Duncan has just zoomed in.
Okay.
Maximally, I would say.
Maximally.
I would say you're on maximum zoom because if you just looked out of the window, you wouldn't see that.
That's it. That's it. This is about 15, maybe 16 miles away. But because of the wonders of technology, it looks as if the spire is coming out of the top of Mr. Steve's head. I will move you. There we go. Stay there. So can you see? It looks as if the spire of one of the churches or cathedrals in Shrewsbury is now sticking out of Mr. Steve's head.
That was painful.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed that. But a lot is going on behind us today. You might see birds flying by. We had some buzzards flying by behind us.
Marcia, hello Marcia. Marcia and Helena Miranda Cordoza Podesta, to give you your full name, was watching TV yesterday and about a Charlie Chaplin museum in Switzerland.
Oh, yes. Well, that's where he lived for many years. That's where he died.
Yeah. So, well, that's a coincidence then. Well, sort of. You are looking quite fashionable, Mr. Duncan, today. I think that top does look reasonably fashionable.
It does look good on camera. This is one thing you will realise quite often, especially with fashion photography, is something that looks not so good in real life when it is photographed with good lighting, and we do have good lighting here in the studio. Things look much better than they really are. So this is a little old, but I think it looks amazing. I might wear this every week. And there you can see underneath my lovely English Addict t-shirt as well. So if you want one of these, well, you can't have one because they're not for sale. Not yet anyway. Uh-huh.
And when you do, they'll be very expensive.
They will. They actually will be very expensive.
Yes, well, Rhubarb, the reason that we are dressed in slightly more fashionable attire, although if you use the word attire, you immediately rule out any possibility that you are fashionable, because nobody that's fashionable would use the word attire.
Normally when we talk about attire, it often refers to things that match, maybe a suit, or maybe if you are dressing very formally. So we often use the word attire when we are talking about dressing formally.
Well, there's always dress codes. We have dress codes at work for work meetings, which I suppose is a sort of a fashion thing, isn't it? So we have a meeting and we might have a regional meeting with just our local group. We might have a national meeting and they will tell us the dress code when we are to turn up for this meeting.
Yes.
Now, in the old days, when I say the old days, before the pandemic...
Oh, I see, the 1920s.
There are very confusing dress codes at work. There is business dress.
Yes, this is something we might talk about later on, by the way.
All right, then.
No, it's okay. You can mention it. So, yes, dress code.
Dress codes at work. Do you have dress codes at work for meetings or in the office? Are you required to wear certain clothes?
I suppose you would describe it as the rules of what to wear at certain times or during certain occasions. For example, I suppose if you're going to a wedding, you wouldn't go in your old clothes or maybe some dirty, greasy overalls, but you would go wearing a shirt, tie, and maybe a suit. So very, very formal events, like you said. But these days it would appear that the formality has changed.
Definitely, and I think there's been a big change since the pandemic. You see, if you used to go into, I don't go into head office very often, but when you did used to go into head office years ago, the men would all be dressed in ties and, they might not have their jackets on, but they'd be wearing effectively a shirt with trousers from a suit and a tie, and the women would be smartly dressed. But now, most people go in what they call smart casual, which is... And you're not supposed to wear jeans, but smart pair of trousers and maybe a shirt, something with a collar on for men. Something I never know when it comes to women's fashion.
Yes.
But yeah, it's all changed. And I used to always go to work when I used to see my customers in sales. I'd always wear a suit with a tie, and I still do.
Yes.
But I come across other sales representatives, and they're not wearing suits at all.
Yes, less
formal. Wearing
formal.
any old thing.
It's less formal, and it's very strange, isn't it?
I find it odd. So yeah, you have confusing things at meetings where they say, "Oh, well, I've noticed in my new job, Mr. Duncan, literally nobody, and at no meeting have I ever been to, have they required us to wear business dress."
And that includes a shirt and tie.
Yes,
a necktie.
The next one down from that is business casual,
okay,
which for a man is a suit and a shirt, but not a tie. That's confusing. Yes. And I don't know what women do.
Well, they don't wear a tie.
Smart casual is not a suit, but not jeans, and a shirt. And then you've got casual, which is jeans. So there's at least 4 levels of dress code for work.
I think the general rule nowadays is to wear clothes that don't look as if you sleep in them. That's it. Anything that you can't wear in bed, I think it is then acceptable for general exposure. Like this, you see, you expose yourself, as it were.
Rhubarb says, what does D&G on your T-shirt mean?
It means Dolce & Gabbana.
Yes, you see, fashion, the subject matter for today's fashion. So as I've explained earlier, I put this top on, which is 20 years old, that some friends purchased for me.
Yes.
It's a genuine top, because I would never, I think it cost back 20 years ago.
Is this a replay?
I think it costs, I bet it's £100 in today's money. I could probably sell it, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's why, it's not a secret message to catch up, although I don't understand why D&G could be a secret message to catch up.
Well, it could be.
Why?
It could be Duncan and George, you see. Maybe it's a secret message coming through the internet. So, something that's going into your brain and you don't realise it.
So rhubarb, maybe your initials are D&G. So a few people have said I look quite fashionable, including many of our friends. Beatrice said that I look very fashionable, so thank you, Mr. Duncan.
Good. Mr. Duncan, your streaky jumper, stripy. So you would describe this jumper as stripy. It's very unusual because it's a jumper. It is a jumper or sweater, but it has a zip on the front. This is very fashionable, and I have to say, I'm quite amazed how good it looks on screen. It makes me look right. I feel like I'm off to a film premiere.
So Marcy has hit on a good point already about fashion.
Yeah.
Referring to the sort of people that we often associate with high fashion. Certain, like the Italians, for example. We often associate the Italians and the French with fashion.
High fashion originated in France. So a lot of the words connected to fashion actually originate from French, because you might say that a lot of the modern culture originated in France. And we are talking about art, maybe story writing, poetry perhaps, and of course fashion as well, clothing. So a lot of it has traditionally had a very strong French influence, but Italy as well.
Is Lewis in? Lewis is on his mobile phone.
He is in Brittany.
He's in Brittany, so having problems probably typing as he said earlier. But we also have Patrick's here as well.
Hello, Patrick. Patrick at the moment is having another wonderful holiday.
I know.
He sent me some wonderful pictures of a wonderful looking church. And it was very unusual because it was black and white. I've never seen a black and white church before. Very interesting.
Pedro wants to buy a Fred Perry polo shirt. Yes, well, they're quite fashionable, aren't they, Fred Perry?
They were very notorious. Oh, Steve. They were very notorious in the 1970s for people who were a little bit violent, hooligans.
Really?
And punk rock as well. So Fred Perry, the brand and the T-shirt and the polo tops actually had for a long time, they had a rather unsavoury. And there was another brand as well. I can't remember the name of it. It was like a crest. I can't remember the name of the brand. But yes, it's funny how certain brands of clothing become attached to certain periods of time.
I'll tell you what's interesting as well about fashion is how it makes you feel.
Oh.
When you, like, for example, if you said Fred Perry to me, it makes me feel, I feel old. I don't know what it is about Fred Perry. That brand, the way it was marketed, wasn't Fred Perry, wasn't he the last British person to win Wimbledon or something?
I know I got into trouble.
The
last time we talked about this, I got into trouble because I kept saying he was a tennis player. But, sorry, a golfer. I actually thought Fred Perry was a golfer, but you are right. He actually was a tennis player.
Didn't he win Wimbledon in something like 1927 or something? Of course, that probably was after that, maybe in the 50s. And then obviously marketed his own brand. But to me,
yes,
a Fred Perry top, I know Pedro wants one. But obviously it depends on the country you're with and how it was originally marketed. In the UK, Fred Perry to me means somebody in their 50s or 60s. It's not a young brand in the UK. Well, I think it is. But to me, that's how it makes me feel.
Yes. But as you said earlier, you're not a fashion person, so
I'm not a fashion
you
person.
probably don't really know.
Well, that's the thing with certain shops like Marks and Spencer's.
Okay.
Marks and Spencer's, everyone's heard of that. Well-known department store in the UK. But when you go in, I never buy clothes from Marks and Spencer's because they make me feel old. I don't know why. It's just the brand.
But you wear Marks and Spencer's clothing.
I know. I've got some shirts.
Yes. Anyway,
but
this is
fashion's all about how it makes you feel.
Please like this.
Very, very important.
Please like
isn't
this.
It?
Please like. Thank
certain
you.
brands make you feel a certain way.
Yes.
It's like underwear.
Oh, now that is one of my secret pleasures of life, Steve. My secret pleasure in life.
Men's underwear?
Can I just say it? Putting on a new pair of underpants. I don't know what it is. Now, men will understand this. All men. Putting on a fresh, brand new, not straight from the box. I normally wash them first to get rid of all of the other chemicals that have been added. I don't like anything unsavoury near my...
Might make you sterile.
Okay. No, carry on.
No, I was going to say.
Okay, that was
chemicals might make you sterile.
You just wanted to interrupt me.
No.
I don't want any chemicals near my meat and 2 veg. But it is the most amazing feeling. You pull them up and already you're thinking, this is going to be so wonderful. You pull them right up and you go, I'm wearing brand new, clean underpants. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, it is. Fashion is what you choose to wear. It just, when you have a certain brand, it makes you feel something. And different people feel different ways when they wear fashion. And I mean, Fred Perry to Pedro, that's going to make him feel good if he can get a Fred Perry T-shirt. Wouldn't to me. But then, you know, and brands of underwear make you feel maybe a bit sexy if you've got certain underwear on, maybe certain tops. You see, I used to go out nightclubbing in this and I used to feel really good. Gave me confidence. That's what fashion does.
Yes.
It can give you confidence, can't it?
Well, I think that's what it's all about.
Yes.
It is all about that feeling that you get. Anyway, would you like to look at... We're going to look at some words and phrases connected to that actual subject in a few moments. I think we'll have a little break, though. And then we will come back with something else. I think that sounds good. Does that sound good? Okay, we will do that. And we will be back talking about an interesting subject. I hope it is interesting for you. We are looking at fashion. That's what we're doing today. It is true that Mr. Steve is completely, absolutely mad. This is what we're doing.
Got a problem with your hands, Mr. Duncan?
Vogue, 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 Vogue. That's it. That's what we're doing today. We're looking at fashion. Mr. Steve will be in the garden later cutting the grass. So that's why I played that, just for you, to get you in the mood for going outside to push your big, heavy lawnmower.
Well, I don't have to push it, Mr. Duncan. It's self-propelled.
So it pulls you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, no, yeah, I was wearing that exact outfit on that that you showed that video. I was wearing that today up on the flat roof above your studio.
Good.
Making sure there are no leaks, plugging any holes and cracks in the felt.
I think so.
Yes.
All of that is very, very important. So now, Steve, we're moving on to today's subject, and I have to say, I think I have done very well with the design for today's graphic. There it is. So there is Mr. Steve as a punk rocker. Can you see that? So that's Steve in the 1970s, late 1970s. And there I am. I'm wearing a little bit of futuristic clothing there with a mixture of steampunk. I am very much into...
Steampunk?
Steampunk.
I've never heard of that.
That is my thing. That is my thing. That is going to be my look in the future, I think. I'm going to go steampunk. Anyone who knows what that is will know exactly what I mean. And if you don't know, and ever so sorry, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? That is today's question. Not necessarily in a provocative or sensual way, but just generally, what are you wearing? So if you are naked, please don't tell me that, because Steve will get too excited and I won't be able to control him for the rest of the day. So we are looking at fashion. Fashion. There was a song by David Bowie called Fashion, Turn to the Left. Fashion, Turn to the Right. Ooh, fashion. Did you like that? Did you enjoy that, Steve?
What did you do then?
Nothing.
Yeah, so I was a bit distracted because Pedro just said he was topless.
That's nice.
We have this little joke, don't we, between us, Pedro and I.
Anyway, fashion. Can we just do this, Steve? Fashion. Fashion is what we're talking about. And the word fashion just generally relates to I suppose, anything that comes and is trendy or popular. So I think the word fashion is one that can be used in many ways. However, we often think of clothing. Clothing, your style, the way you look. And as Steve said earlier on, some fashions, some types of clothing can relate to certain periods of time. And I'm going to look at my favourite period of time later on. By going to look at some clothing that I still love, even though it is not in fashion anymore.
Is it baggy trousers?
It might be.
Is it flares?
It might be. It might have something to do with that.
Okay.
And when we think of fashion, we also think of style as well. Your style. So I think style is, again, a word that can be referred to many things. Maybe the type of painting, or maybe the type of photograph, maybe the type of thing that you do, maybe the way you arrange something, flowers or food, style. So I think that's a good word because it can be used in so many ways in the English language. And of course, in fashion, we can use it quite a lot. When we think of style, we also think of what?
Appearance.
The appearance, yes. So the appearance of something. And I suppose really what it comes down to is not just the way something appears to other people, but as you said quite rightly, the way it makes you feel as well about yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the big selling points of fashion, would you say?
Definitely. Probably depending on how it's advertised, certain brands will make you feel a certain way, and therefore you will increase in confidence if you wear this particular brand. And that's just how it's sold to us. Can I say hello to SK Tamana Kamal, who I think is new, watching us from Bangladesh.
Hello.
Gives us a nice heart.
Hello to Bangladesh.
Thank you very much for that. And of course, we've got to say hello to Udom, who's there as well from Thailand. Not too far away, in fact.
Udom, who often refers to himself as the old man from Thailand.
Yeah, which he has done here today.
Oh, I see. Giovanni, I think Giovanni is an 80s person because he likes music from the 1980s, including Depeche Mode. Oh, yes. Very good.
Or is it Depeche Mode? Is it Depeche or Depeche?
Well, what's interesting is mode can also be a reference to fashion as well. So the mode is the type of fashion or the style that you are wearing. Oh, hence the word, I think it refers to the word model as well. So model is a person who shows the fashion. The mode is the style. Oh, very interesting.
You can have style icons, can't you?
You can.
People who are seen in the wider context as being people who are iconic in some way. A style icon. Somebody might say that to you at work. You're a style icon. It means you're somebody that is always wearing fashionable clothes, and there is something unique about you in the fact that you're always looking very stylish. I think French people always look. Do you know what it is? It's French women. They always look incredibly stylish. Probably also Italian women as well. But whenever you go to France, French women always look so fashionable. But at the same time, they sort of just wear it with ease. British people are often seen as not particularly fashionable, aren't we? Particularly on the beach. Men wearing sandals and...
But if you're on the beach, you're not really wearing very much. I don't think you go onto the beach wearing your suit and tie, to be honest.
But I don't think generally British people are seen as stylish, are they?
Not really, no. But again, celebrities, famous people, royalty. We have, of course, Kate Middleton. She is now the Princess of Wales. So she is seen as a style icon.
Yeah,
she's an icon. And then the other one as well, Meghan. A lot of people see her as a style icon. So it does tend to be a female thing, and that's why I'm trying to sort the balance today. I want the balance to be more towards us men, because we can be stylish as well. Yes, Alain Delon, French actor. He was seen as cool, sophisticated and stylish, you see.
Coco Chanel, says Marcy, was very stylish. Yes, a style icon. And I wonder if it was Chanel that... was that her perfume, Chanel perfume?
Yes.
Chanel number 9, is it? Chanel number... What's that famous one?
A fashion house.
Chanel number something or other. Always used to be advertised on television.
Yes.
I always used to be fascinated by this advert.
Well, what you find is
number 5. Chanel number 5, wasn't it?
Good. What you find is fashion starts with the clothes and then moves into other areas. So you think of lots of famous perfumes. They originate, of course, with the fashion house, where the clothes are styled, and then they move into other things because of that sophistication, you see. You're transferring the sophistication into the product.
But Chanel number 5 in the 70s and 80s, that was the perfume for women to have, and it's got a very unique scent. But I can still remember the advert to this day. It used to fascinate me, the advert, because there was it was obviously a French advert that was just shown here and dubbed over with British voices. But there was this stylish French woman sort of wandering around, sort of looking like that, and then she bumps into a man, and the scent, and she looks so... I can picture her now. I'd love to see that advert, and it's got some lovely sort of French music going on in the background. I'd love to see that advert again. Chanel number 5. These things stay in your mind. Obviously, the image was that this beautiful woman was wearing this wonderful perfume, and this man obviously is captivated by her because of the scent.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's right. Does anybody remember that advert?
But does it work, though? Because I always think that those advertisements are a little bit misleading. And the reason is because the person wearing the perfume is often very attractive and good looking. So even if they smelt like a bucket of old fish rotting in the sun, I think they would still be attractive physically.
Claudia's hit on something here. Now, that's very, very good of you to point this out. Claudia says, I used to wear high heels, but I don't anymore because it gives me sore feet. Well, this is what a phrase you can use, isn't it? A fashion victim. A fashion victim is the opposite to a fashion icon or a style icon. It's somebody who is either uses fashion and then becomes injured as a result of it, or has problems, or they look silly because it doesn't suit them. But I always remember when I was at school, high heels suddenly came in for women.
I'm sure. I thought you were going to say for you.
High heels came in for women, and there were lots of girls wearing high heels at school, and they would break their ankles because there were several girls I remember in my class. And for some reason, they let them come to school in high heels. But that high heels were a fashion. And, of course, if there's any group of the population who are going to want to wear the fashionable things, it's going to be teenage girls. At least it was back in the 70s. So they'd wear high heels to school. And then, because they were so high, they'd flop over on one side and break their ankles.
Well, the worst ones, of course, are stilettos. Stilettos. So it has a very thin heel, and it's very easy to actually fall or twist your ankle. So I would imagine during the 1970s, when that sort of fashion was popular, I would imagine that hospitals were full of women with broken ankles, and they've all tripped over their big high heels.
Stilettos were banned. I remember them being banned at one point because the heel is so fine that you depending on the floor surface, if it's wood or something like that, you can actually make marks in the floor because of all that weight is concentrated into that very narrow little heel. And I remember at one point they were banned.
It also makes a very good weapon as well. So the
People
woman
have been
can
killed,
the woman can walk along the road. If a man comes up behind her, she can grab her stiletto and just sink it into his skull.
Well, I remember somebody died, actually. I remember it was a news story many, many years ago when, I don't know, some people fell over and this woman in stilettos stepped on this man and killed him because the stiletto went right through his head.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, so...
so you are literally a fashion victim.
Yes.
A victim of fashion.
But normally if you refer to someone as a fashion victim, it means that they will wear any old fashion that's there. That's out there.
I'm not quite sure of that. I think it's normally a person who suffers for the fashion.
Suffers for the fashion, yes, or maybe they look a bit silly because the fashion doesn't suit them. You can say that they spend lots of money on it, and they're a victim really of that.
When we look at fashion, we also look at individual style, and this is another thing that I think is quite interesting when we look at fashion. Everyone has their own individual style. So fashion is not just aimed at one group of people these days, because everyone wants to express themselves in their own way with their clothing. There is no better way of showing people how proud you are of your appearance or how cool you look by choosing the clothes that you feel the best in.
Please feel free to tell us what you're wearing now, if it's fashionable.
Yes.
I mean, we know, for example, that Pedro isn't wearing very much at all.
Mm-hmm.
We also know that, according to the chat here, that Rhubarb, in fact, wants to know what we're wearing underneath on the bottom half of our body.
Lower down.
Lower down, yes.
I am completely naked.
I can tell you, it's not fashionable.
Look. Yeah, it's moving around. Everything's moving around down there. It's all jiggling.
Somebody said that they were wearing just something comfortable for a Sunday afternoon at home. I can't remember who said that now.
Yeah.
Marcia says that I'm wearing comfortable clothes for a Sunday at home. That's it. Probably some sweatpants, a jogging top maybe. Just something comfortable. No one's going to see you. No one's going to knock on the door. And you're not going to be worried because you just want to be yourself and you just want to be relaxed.
We call it slouching.
Slouching away.
Slouching clothing.
Comfortable clothes.
Clothing for slouching.
I've just got some jogging bottoms, by the way, Rhubarb, if you want to know. I'm just wearing sort of sweatpants, jogging bottoms, loose-fitting clothes.
And I'm wearing nothing. I'm au natural down there. Everything, it's all there.
Believe me, I would not be standing here if Mr. Duncan had nothing on.
That's nice. I like that very much.
I'm just
individual style. So everyone has their own individual style. We don't all dress the same because that would be ever so boring. So I always find it fascinating when you look at other countries, certain countries with certain regimes. North Korea. I am so fascinated by North Korean fashion or the clothing. Have you seen it? It looks like they're all off to drive tanks or to climb up the side of a building to clean the windows. It's very interesting. I find that quite interesting clothing. So you often find in certain types of countries where there is a dictatorship, everyone will wear similar clothing. China used to be like that. So everyone used to wear very simple clothing and it all looked the same. But nowadays, if you go to places like China, you will see lots of different types of fashion like this, you see. So I bought this when I was working in China. And I think this still looks pretty good.
That's not for you to say. It's up for other people to say. Bella, Claudia is coming up with lots of very good things today. I have my own fashion. I always wear black trousers and a colourful jumper. Well, that's it. That's your style. So, yes, we all tend to have our own style. Sometimes we're not necessarily fashion victims, that we have to wear whatever is the latest fashion. That sometimes, yes, you can be called a fashion victim if you're always wearing whatever is the latest fashion. Sometimes as well.
Yes.
So Claudia's got her own style. She wears black trousers and a colourful jumper. And in a way, I think I do the same. I always wear jeans and a polo shirt normally if I'm going out. A polo. Why do they call them T-shirts? Somebody asked this earlier.
I think it's because they're shaped like a T.
Are they?
It's a straight line and two things that come out. So
Right.
the shape is like the letter T.
The arms coming out look like a T.
Yes,
That's
the overall shape is like the letter
Somebody
T.
asked that earlier.
It goes up and then comes out. Like the letter T, you see. Another word. Oh, I have some interesting words now. Oh.
That sounds French.
Facade. Facade. The front of something, the face of something. Quite often we think of the facade of a building, a type of building, maybe the front of the building, the part that you can see. But of course, facade can also be related to people as well, what we look like, our own personal appearance, your facade. So fashion, I think, often is a type of facade.
A covering.
You are showing something. It is the front, the place that is visual.
But what is underneath might be very different to what is on the surface. So just because I'm wearing this D&G top, you might think that I'm a sexy sort of, I don't know, nightclubbing sort of easygoing guy.
Yeah.
But underneath, I could be very different to that.
I don't know how drunk we have to get to think that.
But that's it, you see. Well, yes, a facade. It's a fake. It's a covering.
It's not necessarily fake.
Not necessarily, but what is on the outside could be very different to what is on the inside.
The surface that is on show is the facade. And of course, we have the word visage as well. Visage, which literally refers to the face. So your face. And I think this is something that even men, because we are concentrating a little bit more on men today, because fashion is often relating to women. So men, we are also very concerned about the way we look. Men these days, they are concerned about the way they dress, the way they appear, even their skin. Now, I think, I don't know if I'm revealing anything here, but Steve sometimes likes to put certain products on, don't you? Just to keep yourself...
Moisturiser, you mean?
Keep your skin looking fresh.
Well, I've got dry skin, you see, so I discovered years ago that if I put moisturiser on, I wouldn't, because I think if you've got dry skin, if you're Mediterranean in origin, your skin tends to be sort of more oily. But lots of British people have, well, certainly I do, have very dry skin. And so I have to put something on. Otherwise, I mean, imagine the wrinkles I would have had.
Yeah.
Unless I'd put something on. I mean, I don't use anything expensive, just a very cheap.
Just something to keep it looking fresh. And I think this is it, especially when we're getting older. We are both, you might not believe it, but in 10 years from now, we will both be elderly. I will be in my little wheelchair, my electric wheelchair, driving around Much Wenlock, running people over. So facade, the word facade is the front, the appearance, and visage relates to the face. But we often talk about those things in fashion because they are the things that are the most obvious, or I suppose the most apparent as well. Follow the conventions. Again. So this can relate to other things besides fashion, I suppose, Steve?
Yes,
other things?
follow the conventions. Yes, are you the sort of person that follows conventions, which means are you somebody that conforms to a certain way of living? And that could be, of course, in fashion. Do you wear what your parents wear, for example? Is it what's conventional for you to wear? What is the norm, in other words, isn't it, really?
See, I'm going to be a little bit naughty here and say that teenagers or young people often dress the opposite.
Yes,
so
that's it.
we often use our parents as a way of seeing what you should not wear. I remember that as a kid. We're going to look at some very embarrassing photographs of me as a young person trying to look fashionable later on, by the way.
Later on?
Don't go away. Well, later on in the show.
Well, I thought we were going in a minute.
No, we're not going in a minute.
Well, I might. Anyway.
Oh, okay, Steve.
That's all right, yes.
Oh, okay, then. You can go if you want.
I'm totally joking.
Okay. Oh, you're joking.
Yeah, well, sort of.
It's a strange joke. Following the conventions, the ways or the modes, the ways of doing.
Yes, I referred to something earlier about my job in sales. The conventional way to dress would be for a man to wear a suit and tie. And I follow that convention, even though it actually might not be fashionable these days to wear a suit and tie. I still do, but many people don't. So I'm following convention. Yeah, I mean, if you go to church, there's certain conventions there about the way you dress in a respectful way, for example.
I always think there's something that annoys me about going to a church because they always tell the men to take their hats off. However, the women can all go there and wear their hats. And I think that's unfair. I think if the ladies can sit in the church and wear their big hats, I think the men should also be allowed to do that as well.
Well, the convention used to be in the 60s and 70s that men, certainly in the 50s, 60s, men always wore hats. If you look at newsreels of the time or news video of the time, anybody outside, all the men were wearing hats. Literally, all the men were wearing hats.
Yeah, and I think they will come back into fashion.
But it's not fashionable anymore. But I think it should be, because that's probably why more people are getting skin cancer. Because, if you wear a hat, it protects you from the sun. Whereas now it's not fashionable to wear a hat when you go out. It isn't for a man. It's not well, you can wear a baseball cap.
Well, I think young
like
people,
that.
yes, young people still wear hats.
Baseball hats, that's about it. But you see, a baseball hat isn't very good at protecting you from the sun. It's a fashion item. It was designed for playing baseball.
Well, it keeps the sun out of your eyes.
Keeps the sun out of your eyes, but it doesn't keep the sun off your neck, off your face, off your ears.
Or your buttocks.
So it's not much use to protect you against the sun. It's literally it's fashionable. It comes from America. And anything that comes from America in the UK is seen as fashionable. Everyone in the UK wants to adopt American ways of life and fashion. That's just the way it is over here. We're all a bit obsessed because we always used to look, when we were growing up, the Americans always seemed more advanced, more fashionable, more up to date in everything.
You do realise that most of the fashion influence over the years has been from Europe.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just talking generally about how you perceive other cultures
concerning hats.
Concerning ways of life, the way people live their lives, comedy, films. You name it. There's been so much influence from America to Western society.
At certain times of the year, new clothes are released. They are shown for the first time. They normally have some sort of fashion show, or they show what the new fashion season will be. And this is I think this is the cleverest thing that exists, having a fashion season, because you can always get people to buy new clothes. It's a bit like the iPhone. Every year people buy the new iPhone because it's slightly larger, or maybe they have some interesting colours, or maybe the camera is another pixel stronger So
Well-
the fashion season, I think, when things are released and you are told this winter, this is what people are wearing.
Even sometimes the colours, isn't it? These are the colours people are wearing this autumn. And of course, there are lots of fashion magazines, aren't there? For women in particular, more for men now, because men are increasingly becoming more and more fashionable. They're using more and more products that companies can sell to the men. And fashion magazines, of course, are something that stimulate what a woman is going to wear at particular times of the year. The controversy, I mean, the one controversial thing about fashion these days is talked about is its impact on the environment. Whereas, particularly where people used to buy clothes years ago, and they would keep them as long as possible, wouldn't they? You'd buy socks if they got holes. You'd darn the holes in the socks. If the shirt collars wore out, my mother used to say that her parents used to turn the collars round and sew them back on the other way.
Well, you used to be able to take them off.
That's it.
Everything used to come apart. They used to have a thing called a dickie. Have you ever heard of a dickie? A dickie is something you wear under another item of clothing, and it looks like the thing is real. For example, maybe you can wear a jacket with a fake shirt underneath, or maybe a T-shirt that only comes to here. But under the clothing, it looks like you're wearing complete clothes. Can I say thank you to Ariel Castilla? Thank you very much for your lovely super chat again. Thank you very much for your beautiful heart as well. Thanks. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yes, Ariel. Yes, I was going to say yes, but fashion is seen as bad for the environment because particularly with the rise of, because what people tend to do is they buy clothes, as I was referring to, used to buy some clothes and you keep them for a very long time until they wore out. Clothes weren't, but now people buy clothes and they chuck them away.
Yes.
After one season,
Yeah.
or take them to the charity shop.
Because of this, because of the fashion season.
But of course, all these clothes are made in countries far, far away. They're shipped in. It all has an impact on the environment, and they're trying to encourage people. Well, I'm sure the companies aren't. But certain people are trying to encourage people, not to do this anymore. But I can't see that the companies are going to allow this to happen because
my
they make lots of
underwear,
money out of it.
my new underwear is made in Bangladesh, and we have someone from Bangladesh on. You see,
Oh, there we go. Yes.
So many parts of the world, Indonesia as well,
Vietnam, China.
Yes. So in many different parts of the world, clothing is made and then it's transported.
Yeah.
So every season that comes, all of those clothes have to be transported. They are made and then transported. And quite often, they are then thrown away at the end of that season because the new clothes come along.
Ariel's from Argentina. I remember from last week. Ariel sent you a donation.
We met Ariel in Paris.
Of course, it's all flooding back. Yes, of course. I remember now. That's
Good.
Oh, I'm so engrossed in this subject today, Mr. Duncan. But yes, exactly. So, what's that shop in the UK that's very popular for people? Very cheap clothes in the UK. They're everywhere. People go in there, and it's a big department store, isn't it? Very cheap.
But there,
clothes.
let me just. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Primark.
So in the UK, we've got a shop called Primark. Don't know whether you have it there. It sells very, very cheap clothing, fashionable, the latest fashionable, but cheap. So
Well, it's all again. I think that relates to what you've just mentioned as well.
That's it.
About where it's made in different parts of the world. It is all transported, and of course, it is cheaper. If it was made here in the UK, it would be incredibly expensive. Now, depending on how you look at that, it is either a good thing or a bad thing. So for those who have an industry of making clothing, it is, of course, a good thing because people have jobs.
But the quality, I've noticed, this is something I've noticed, the quality of clothes has deteriorated significantly over the last 10, 20, 30 years.
I think that's on purpose.
It's on purpose.
So you have to buy new clothes.
So you have to buy new clothes.
Because they fall to pieces.
Well, I know it's deteriorated because for example, I used to shop at Gap. Was my favourite place to shop because the clothes fitted me. One shop, that's what men like. They like something easy. You just go into one shop, you know it's going to fit you. You walk out, job done. You've got a new pair of jeans and some shirts. Now, I've got shirts from T-shirts and jeans that I bought from Gap 20 years ago that I'm still wearing, and yet ones that I bought 3 or 4 years ago have stretched. The collars have all gone. The quality, I mean, Gap doesn't exist anymore. It's closed down, and it deserves to have closed down because the quality of its clothes became shockingly bad. But this is what's happened now. So you can't. Where do you go to buy quality clothes? I don't know.
You go on Amazon.
Well, I try to go. Yes, Amazon.
But this is it. Yes. Well, that's the point. But the point of that is they all go on the internet now to buy their clothes. I've got to move on, Steve, because we are running out of time. Conformist and non-conformist. Now, I think these are very interesting words. So when you think of a conformist, a bit like what you said earlier on about wearing things that you think are suitable for that particular moment. And conforming means you are going along with the majority, what most people are doing. You conform, you fit in, you don't stand out in any way. And then we have the opposite, which is non-conformist, which is a person who is very individual and they want to express their individuality. I'm often referred to as the second one, non-conformist. I think it's fair to say.
Whereas I would say I was conformist. I don't feel as though I don't feel comfortable if I'm wearing something that I'm not used to. I always feel very self-conscious. So I'm not very... Pedro says, Christina says, I like Levi jeans. Well, Levi jeans are a quality item. They're very expensive, but they will last you. I've got Levi jeans that I purchased 30 years ago, and I've still got them, and I can't get into them anymore.
Well, I can tell you why that is, because the quality of them is incredible. And they're about £200 for a pair of jeans now.
But they are now, but they didn't used to. I mean, they were always more expensive, but they were never that expensive. Whereas they seem to have. But quality. That's it. I've got things from 30 years ago that I can still wear. I might wear them in the garden, but I might because they've faded. But the stitching is still there. The collars, everything's still there. But I mean, the last pair of jeans I bought from where was it? Where did I say I like to buy my clothes from? From Gap. They literally got holes in them within about 2 years. I mean, that's just appalling. But anyway.
So I think it's fair to say Steve is a conformist to a degree. I'm a little bit non-conformist.
Giovanni says, should we say non-conformist or unconformist?
None, because you don't do it. So the conformist follows it, the non-conformist does not follow it. It's a bit like saying that something has one thing and then the opposite is that thing is not there. For example, maybe fat in your food and non-fat, which means there is no food. So you are a conformist, you are a non-conformist. You do not conform, and you have no strict rules that everyone else follows. I think that's fair to say. Here we go.
Beatrice says that she bought some clothes from Primark and they're 2019 and they're still very good. So well, I wasn't suggesting that Primark clothes were bad quality. It's just that they are seen as an outlet that is encouraging people to buy clothes and then throw them away. They're seen as a sort of an example of a shop that is because the clothes are relatively cheap. I wasn't making a comment about the quality, just on the cost.
Yeah, it's
If
all.
they're made in Bangladesh or somewhere, it's encouraging people to. Well, that was only £10. I'll chuck it away and buy another one. So it's encouraging people to not keep their clothes for a long time, thus being bad for the environment.
Yes. So when we talk about fashion, there are things that people like, things that people dislike, and of course things that come and go. So they come into fashion and then they go out of fashion. What's in and what's out. And you often hear this in the magazines, or you'll read it in the magazines, or hear people talk about it when they're doing their reality TV shows, talking about fashion. You might hear people say what's in and what's out. So when we say what's in, what is fashionable? What's out is what is not fashionable anymore. What's in and what's out. We can also say that something is in vogue. It is in vogue or on style. Now, I always find that interesting because it doesn't seem right to say on style, and yet you will often hear people talk about a person who is looking very fashionable. You will say they are dressing on style. It's very odd, isn't it?
So that means you're dressing, you're up to date with
Yes.
fashion.
That's it. You are in vogue. You are fashionable.
So here's a phrase we haven't used yet: fast fashion.
Oh,
Demetrios, thank you for that. Yes, an example is Primark. Fast fashion. It's here one day, it's gone the next. A new fashion comes in, buy that one, chuck away the old ones. That's what is seen as fast fashion.
I think so.
And that's the criticism. Excuse me, I'm burping.
Oh, right.
Oh, excuse me. Got to get that up.
See,
Mr. Duncan.
that is not fashionable.
Well, in some countries, it's seen as good manners after you've eaten.
Is it?
Yeah,
Huh?
if you
Where?
burp after the meal, it's seen. It shows that you've enjoyed the meal. Apparently,
What about, so if you vomit, that must be like a round of applause. Haute couture. Mr. Steve, it's okay, I'm not having a stroke. Haute couture. That's means literally in French high fashion. So the high concept, or maybe individual, something that is only made in a certain number.
so this isn't ordinary fashion for the masses.
Not for us paupers.
It's for rich people.
Yes, it's for the Princess of Wales and the Meghan Markles of the world.
So
And
this would be modelled by very glamorous models on the catwalk,
Yes, and celebrities.
and celebrities would wear it, and you would go to certain shops and spend thousands of pounds on one item or something. High fashion, yes, probably, yeah.
So we often hear haute couture, people who make clothing, but they make it individually. So maybe for only one person, or just a small quantity of those things are made, and they are normally thousands of pounds.
And this is what other shops like Primark will do. They will copy those high fashions, and then for the masses in a cheaply made way.
I think so. And we are moving on. Something old-fashioned. We often think of a person who is older as being old-fashioned because the things they remember from many years ago are the things now that aren't around. But maybe they still do those things. And you say, oh, you are so old-fashioned. Something old-fashioned is something out of date. It is no longer done. Or maybe you don't wear that thing anymore. It is now out of date. It is out of fashion.
Yes, an old-fashioned person. I'm often accused of being old-fashioned because someone could say to me, well, you wear a suit and a tie for work. That's very old-fashioned. People don't do that anymore. Somebody might say, or you might be wearing the same clothes, the same style of clothes that you've worn maybe when you were in your 20s. You adopted a certain style and then you just never changed it throughout your life. So 40 years later, someone might say, you're a bit old-fashioned. You're wearing all those same clothes you used to wear 40 years ago. But old-fashioned doesn't just refer to clothes. It can also refer to your attitudes in life, the way certain words or phrases that you use.
Another word you can use is traditional. So
yes.
Old-fashioned and traditional can sometimes be swapped as synonyms. Definitely. Take something out or take something off. I don't remember the preposition like in a shop. Well, if you take something out, I think maybe if you take something out, you are taking it out of the box. So to take something out can be remove one thing from inside another thing. And to take something off normally means you are removing it from display, maybe off the shelf, or maybe it is hanging up. You take it off. To take out is remove from a box or a container or a package. Take off is to remove from a shelf. You take it directly from a certain place.
Claudia is coming up with so many good things today. She's come up with another one here. I like wash and wear clothes. I don't like ironing. Wash and wear. See, over here we'd call them non-iron, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I always buy, Claudia. I don't like ironing. So I always buy non-iron shirts or wash and wear shirts. And I also buy, that's it. I always buy non-iron shirts for work.
Man-made materials, polyester. A lot of things nowadays are made of polyester, or sometimes they mix them together. So you have cotton and polyester together. Polycotton, they call it. But as you know, I absolutely hate ironing. I think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yes, so, but what I've discovered as well is even with, I'm sure a lot of you know this as well, if you take the clothes out of the washing machine straight away and then you shake them and hang them up, put even your shirts, if you put them on hangers, then often you don't even need to iron, particularly T-shirts, you often don't need to iron them if you shape them properly when they come out of the washing machine. I also buy, I'll tell you, here's another thing I buy, is suits that don't need dry cleaning.
Oh.
So a man's suit that you can wash in the washing machine, because I hate the hassle of having to take a suit to the dry cleaners and pay £25.
I think dry cleaning is the biggest con ever. Why is it so expensive?
I know, and essentially your clothes are being washed with everybody else's clothes and whatever solvents they use. I don't think they never smell nice when they come back from the dry cleaners. They all smell sort of fusty.
Well, it's the chemicals they use as well.
I know, and I'm sure it's all mixed in with everyone else's dirt.
Yes, I think so.
But you can buy suits that are that you can machine washable suits.
Yeah, I think that is one of the biggest steps forward. The biggest steps forward in fashion has to be being able to put things in a washing machine and not worry about it.
Christina is, you've got to put it on a very gentle wash, I must admit.
Yes, of course.
Christina is going to iron her clothes today. And Sunday, of course, is a day that people often do ironing because they're at work on Monday, so they want to get the clothes ironed.
I can't do the ironing. It's terrible. It's so boring. Oh, Mr. Steve, if you want to look after yourself, you are often grooming, or you are obsessed or worried about your neatness. Grooming. So we often use grooming when we are talking about men looking after their appearance. Grooming can be just shaving, keeping the hair out of your nose and your ears as you get older, by the way. If you are young, I can tell you now, as you get older, you will get hair coming out of the most bizarre parts of your body, especially your ears and your nose for some reason, and also on your shoulders and on your back.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that, Mr. Duncan.
Grooming. So men, as you said earlier, men often take more care of themselves.
These days they do.
Especially their appearance.
Yes, you might shave your chest hair, maybe your underarm hair, maybe your, lower down.
Yes, you keep everything trim.
You keep everything neat and tidy, as you say, grooming. Women don't groom. You wouldn't use that expression for women. Women just make themselves beautiful. But yes, grooming, because men have lots of hair growing out everywhere, so keeping it all neat and tidy. If you've got a beard, which of course is a very fashionable thing for men to have now, certainly it is in the UK. Every other man's got a beard now. I think they look horrible, but anyway, I grew one a few times. They're so itchy and drives me mad. But it's a fashion statement now for a man to have a beard.
Yes. So even
you have to keep it groomed.
Yes.
You have to keep it trimmed and looking neat.
You want the shape to remain as it should be. Also, so when you look in the mirror, Mr. Steve, what do you see when you look in the mirror? When you go to the mirror,
an Adonis.
You see what?
An Adonis. Oh, when I look in the mirror. Oh, right. Okay.
No, your own mirror with you in front of it. Not someone else's mirror. But what do we normally see? We see the image of ourselves, your self-image. So your self-image, the image of the self, the person, which in this case is you and I, looking in the mirror, and we see our reflection, but also the way we feel generally when we are out in public, when we can't see ourselves. So self-image, or the image of the self, relates to not just the clothes you wear on the outside, but how you feel on the inside as well, which I always find quite fascinating.
Christine is using a word here, hedonist or narcissist.
Oh.
Yes, if you go around to somebody's house and have a good look around what pictures they've got. If they've got lots of pictures of themselves, then you probably shouldn't stay there because you've probably got a narcissist.
Yes. A hedonist, can I just put those two words into context? Hedonist is a person who goes for self-pleasure or the pleasure of the things around. So they are always looking for the new thrill or the new pleasure. So they are a person who likes to live fast but also enjoy the pleasures of life.
Yes, they might like fine food, drugs, alcohol, sex. Yeah, they're always pleasing themselves. They enjoy a lot of things.
Narcissist. A narcissistic person is a person who is obsessed with themselves, quite often their appearance, like the Narcissus, the guy that looked in the lake and he became obsessed with his own reflection and he couldn't stop looking. And you know what happened? He fell in the lake. He fell in and drowned.
Yeah.
So there you go. Being self-obsessed or being a narcissist can be a bad thing. It can get you very wet. But so can being a hedonist. That can also get you very wet as well.
Many more, Mr. Duncan?
We're coming towards the end. Peacock. Peacock. Now this is being used as a verb. A person who likes to show themselves off. We say that they peacock like the bird. The bird will open its beautiful feathers. Its iridescent feathers will shimmer in the light. And a person can do the same thing. They walk along and they show themselves off.
Cock of the walk.
Okay.
That's another somebody's particularly a man who is dressed up in fashion, walking down the street. Popinjay, that's another expression. That's an old-fashioned expression.
No one uses that.
Popinjay, yes. It's
welcome
been used for 100 years.
Welcome to 1940s English.
I think it's a type of parrot that shows off.
Anyway, that's also a noun, by the way. So this is a verb.
Yeah.
To peacock is to show off. To show off your... So we all do it. I think you do. I think I do. I think we all do it sometimes. We walk down the street, we walk down the road, and we feel great about ourselves. and you can almost hear some music playing in the background, maybe Saturday Night Fever. I look so cool.
Yeah, there's an example of a peacock. Would be that man in that film you just mentioned.
Yeah, him.
What was his name?
John Travolta.
John Travolta. Peacock. Yeah. But, an attractive one, you've got to say.
Or you can strut your stuff.
Right, okay.
You are doing something that will attract attention. Maybe you are looking fashionable, or maybe you go to a disco and you do the most amazing dance moves.
Not those, but yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
Yeah, strut your stuff. It means you're confident. You're showing off in your best fashionable clothes, and you're going out to a party and you're going to have a good dance.
You strut your stuff.
Yeah. Feeling like a number one, says Christina. Yes. Feeling like a number one. Yeah.
And finally, I will leave you with this before we look at some quick photographs before we go. Don't worry. We are going in
I've got to mow that grass, Mr. Duncan.
That's all right. Well, it's still light. It's not. Look at the light behind us. It's beautiful.
I'm also getting tired.
Okay.
Oh,
poor
my legs are aching.
Anyway, here is my phrase to remember. And this is one I made up myself. This is my own phrase that people now quote all around the world. Those who break the trend set the trend. So remember, never worry about standing out. Never worry about breaking the rules, because sometimes breaking those fashion rules can create another type of fashion or a new trend. So those who break the trend set the trend. So I think it's a very interesting phrase, that. I think it's one that we can all learn something.
Yes, you're referring to the fact that if you don't follow fashion, then you might end up making a new fashion.
I think so. So very quickly, I mentioned earlier about the clothing. Here we go, Steve. The 1970s.
That's not you.
The 1970s and the 1980s. No, this isn't me. I didn't say it was.
Was that a deformed person?
This is the 1970s.
Is it Twiggy?
The 1970s fashion. No, it isn't anyone in particular, Steve.
Well, why are their legs far too long?
Well, that's because she's a model.
Her legs are longer than the rest of her body.
Female
that can't be right.
Female models always have long legs. And here we go. So this is some fashion from the 1970s. I think men's fashion in the 1970s was crazy. It looks a bit like this, what I'm wearing now.
Certainly, flares were the fashion. I hated them.
Yeah. Talking of which, oh, Steve, there they are. My most favourite type of fashion from the 1970s must be flares. Flared trousers. They go down very straight, and then they
flare out.
They taper is the word I'm looking for. Taper. They flare out. They taper outwards. And I think one day this type of fashion will come back. I think it will.
They were horrible if you got wet.
Or if it was very windy, you would fly away. Do you want to see a picture of me?
Go on, you're going to put it up anyway, so I'll say yes.
Do you want to see a picture of me looking very trendy? And this was in the late 1980s, early 1990s. This is me. Look at that.
Haven't you shown that before?
Well, maybe, yeah.
You've got like a bibble. You've got your bibble there.
Yes, maybe I showed it about 3 years ago, but I don't think anyone's going to remember. So this is me way back in around about 1991.
Really?
But you can see, yes. So we knew each other. We knew each other when I took that photograph.
Oh, right. Yes, I remember now.
Yes. Do you remember now?
You've still got that tie, by the way.
Yes, I still have that tie. I never wear it anymore. So that is me looking very fashionable way back in the early 1990s. But the thing I wanted to mention is quite often you would notice that 1980s fashion stayed around until the early 1990s and then slowly faded away. So that particular picture of me, yes, it is me. Before anyone says anything, it is me, yes. And That was me way back.
You haven't got a picture of me? No? Okay, well, I never did look fashionable. There's pictures of me at school, and I look so old-fashioned, it's beyond belief.
Yeah.
I look back now, people used to sort of laugh at me. I was a bit of a figure of fun at school. But I made people laugh, so I got away with it. But if you look back at what I was wearing in pictures when I was in the sixth form, I look so old-fashioned. And even when I was a student, I didn't... Anyway, let's not go into that.
No. And finally, before we finish, before we say goodbye, finally, here is a picture taken of me. Definitely.
You again?
Yes, well, I don't
you're
have
a bit
any...
of a narcissist, aren't you?
Well, I don't have any pictures of you.
Christina is referring to you. You're the narcissist.
No.
It's all about you.
Well,
me.
Well, I don't have any pictures of you taken in the 1980s that don't make you look like a train spotter, to be honest.
Yeah, but you could have had a laugh.
Okay,
Yeah, anyway,
it's a laugh, yes. Here I am, dressed as my favourite pop star in 1983.
Yeah.
There I am.
There you are.
So that is
Adamant.
me. That is me, dressed up, and yes, it is me. Way back in 1983, my favourite pop star, and I used to walk around the street dressed like this.
You looked incredibly heterosexual, Mr. Duncan.
I don't know what you mean by that. But this was the height of fashion.
I know it was, yes.
You were around in the 1980s.
Oh, yes, I'm just joking, Mr. Duncan.
So this was the height of fashion. Men were wearing makeup and they were wearing...
No, they weren't.
They were.
Not many were wearing makeup then.
The new romantics. I was a new romantic.
If you wanted to get beaten up, then yes, you wore makeup.
Well, yes, of course, that happened. Of course I was beaten up. But that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun and causing outrage and all sorts of things.
That's it. Well, of course, when you're younger, you have the confidence
You do.
to get away with that sort of thing. But
I couldn't do it now because I don't have the hair, unfortunately, or the body, or the looks, to be honest. Anyway, that's it. It's time to go because Mr. Steve wants to go and cut the lawn.
I've got to.
The grass.
Because this is the last chance I will have before the weather turns. And because I don't like mowing the grass when it's wet because it's very hard work and the machine gets clogged up.
Okay, this is great news.
I'm just,
This information is useful to no one.
Bye, everyone.
It's just a laugh.
I know.
It's just a joke.
A laugh.
It's just a joke, Mr.
Yes.
Steve.
Don't say laugh,
worry.
say laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you later, and I will be back, by the way, on Wednesday. I am here on Wednesday. Tomorrow, by the way, we are going to see the giraffes. I'm not joking. We are going to see...
Flying to Africa.
We're going to Africa, to South Africa tomorrow, to photograph and film some giraffes, and then we will come straight back, and I will be with you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time, live, as we get nearer the anniversary of my YouTube channel. Don't forget to give me a lovely like.
Thank you again, Ariel.
Yes, thank you very much for your lovely donation today. Give me a like to show you care, and then YouTube will put my video out there to share.
So despite high inflation in Argentina, Ariel has sent you a donation.
Yes.
Is it in US dollars, by the way?
No, it isn't.
Oh, I'm joking. Anyway.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay. Catch you later. See you soon, and have a good time. Enjoy the week. Stay safe wherever you are in the world.
Be
And
fashionable.
Be fashionable.
Or not.
Keep it fashionable, or should I say just whatever you want to do. Whatever you will feel the most comfortable wearing, go outside and strut your stuff. And of course...
Oh, Beatrice has got in first.
Sorry?
Yeah, now carry on.
About what?
What were you just going to say?
Oh, okay.
How as we end our
Okay,
show,
Steve.
Beatrice is...
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ta-ta
Ta-ta for
for now.